I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Today, I want us to look at a topic entitled The Transformed Life. In Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, Paul makes the following plea regarding transforming our lives. I read, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing of your mind, that you may prove what that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans is generally considered to be one of the most difficult New Testament books to understand, mainly because it includes in-depth discussion of challenging issues about justification. We can regard it as a meat, not milk. The theme for this book is justification for all men through the gospel rather than through works of the Old Testament. Chapter 1 to 11 give explanation of justification by faith, whereas chapter 12 to 16 application to personal life. It deals mainly with application to personal life. From chapter 1 to 12, Paul has completed a doctrinal presentation explaining concepts about the gospel. Then in chapter 12 to 16, he turns to practical applications. How should those who have been saved by the gospel conduct themselves? They have ceased serving sin and become servants of righteousness. They are walking in newness of life. Paul's point in chapter 12 appears to be miscellaneous thoughts, which are only loosely connected, but all related to a general theme of the consequences of the gospel in our lives. Now, we want to take a look at verse 1 and 2 of Romans chapter 12. In our text, we note the command, do not be conformed to this world. What does the word conform mean to you? Is it just a word that we quickly glance over? How does it relate to your daily living? As we consider this text, several questions come to mind. What does it mean to be transformed? What is the goal of transformation? What should motivate us to undergo transformation? What does one do in order to experience transformation? We need to be very familiar with the concept of conformity and transformation. Not just to understand what Paul is saying, but because this word plays a very important role in our lives, whether young or old. Understanding conformity. To conform to another's pattern. Example, desire to be like someone else. What do they do, say, or wear? To accept the ideas, the fashions, way of walking and talking, that is popular. When you do that, you are trying to conform. A conformist, therefore, is someone who is afraid to be different, feels a need to be like someone else. Now let's look at the definition of transformation. The Greek word is metamorpho, that is to change into another form, from which the word metamorphosis comes, used to describe a change of form. Example is the caterpillar, which changed to butterfly. In the New Testament, this word is used to describe what happened to Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. What is it to happen to Christians in the service of God? Conformity in our society. There is tremendous pressure to conform to the standard of the group. Even adults feel a need to conform. Also, many young people, in the wearing of their clothes and other things, they try to conform. The pressure to conform is often strongest during adolescence. The young often have low esteem. They want desperately to be accepted and esteemed by others, and they end up being conformists. Advertisers often complicate the problem, trying to make market and sell their product, trying to get people to conform to the use of their products. The danger of conformity. It can easily lead you to do things you know are wrong. Boys and girls trying to conform to current societal trends, dressing code, end up doing things they shouldn't do. Example, men at a business luncheon where alcoholic drinks are served, whereas you as a Christian, you don't conform, you don't want to live that life, but you end up conforming to what they do. Advertisers often complicate the problem by trying to lure people to conform to their product, as I stated earlier. Now, the danger to conformity. It can lead you to do things you know are wrong. It can lead you to do things you know are wrong. When others follow suit, the pressure to conform is great. Radical to conform is often applied. Once you give in, the next time conformity is easier. Conformity to things of this world can separate us from God by giving in to the lust of the flesh, by succumbing to the lust of the eye, by yielding to the pride of life. We now understand why Paul commanded us, do not be conformed to this world. There are grave dangers in conforming to another pattern. How shall we deal with the pressure of conformity? We deal with it by being transformed. A conformist, as used here, is one who undergoes a superficial, shallow change, becomes a cheap imitation, letting others do their thinking for them. A transformist undergo a real change, experience a true renewal that begins with conversion, that involves a renewal of mind, that continues as we go through life. Becoming a transformist addresses the reason why many conform, a feeling of insecurity, yet we learn that God loves us and we are special. A desire to follow the crowd, yet we learn the ultimate end of following the crowd is disastrous. Marks the difference between Christians who are truly converted, those who are shallow imitators of true disciples. We have the difference between the Christians who are truly converted and those who are shallow in their way of doing things. A transformist is a leader who proves to do others what's good, acceptable, and perfect. Who proves to others what is good, acceptable, and perfect. Present their bodies as a living sacrifice and has the courage to say no to things that are wrong. Whose example help others to fight off the pressure to conform, giving others the strength to say no, encouraging others to do what is right. A conformist is but a simple follower, letting others do their thinking for them, letting others lead them into harm's way. A transformist is the best. He carry out the true changes, a change that is visible to all. The idea commanded by Paul is this: Christians are to undergo a complete change, which under the power of God will find expression in the character and conduct. We who are caterpillars are to become butterflies. That is true transformation. Note that Paul uses the passive voice, indicating that transformation is something we allow to be done to us, not something we do by our own power alone. Rather, we submit to God's power, and by His grace, we are changed into another form. We become a new creation. So, my brothers and sisters, we are to be transformed. We shouldn't conform to this world. Conformists do things that are wrong, while those who are transformed do things that are right. They undergo the real change, a change that is capable of helping them transform their life. We'll end the study here. We'll continue in our next video. Thank you for being with me. I wish you all the best. Bye for now.